Hey guys, Rexasaur here, and welcome to another Total War Warhammer lore video, where today I will be talking about monsters and machines of war. Why am I talking about this? Well, it might not be completely a lore video, but it's just so that you all know that in Total War Warhammer there will be, as in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, a lot of monsters and a lot of machines. Being in a fantasy game, you can assume that there's going to be dragons, you can assume there's going to be some fantasy creatures. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about what you can expect from each faction in monsterish kind of ways, and also I've included war machines in this because factions like dwarves and factions like the Empire don't really have a lot of monsters as such. They get just big machines of war powered by some arcaneness or whatever. So first let's talk about the monsters. Now, Orcs and Goblins are one of the factions that's going to be in the game, that has been announced to be in the game. And they have quite a few big monsters. The one that probably stands out the most is going to be either the Acronox, I think that's how it says, Ancranoc spider, which is just this massive goblin-ridden spider, which belongs in the goblin forests. And it's massive. Why is that important? Well, because it means that things like spiders will be able to climb walls, and they should be able to, because that's actually a thing in the tabletop. So in a siege battle, having a massive spider means that you're just going to be going, I'm going to go over this wall without actually breaking through it, which is amazing. And you can think of just a multitude of different ways this is going to play out in strategies and stuff. Plus, it's going to be scary as shit. It's going to be amazing. Those who have arachnophobia are just going to be like, oh my god, no. The other thing that possibly you can assume, and well, that we know is going to be in there, are going to be wyverns. Wyverns are basically like dragons, except that they don't breathe fire. I don't think. I know they're poison. In the tabletop, they have poisoned attacks, which means that they automatically do damage on a certain dice roll rather than test strength against toughness, which means that wyverns are very strong against other monsters. They're basically the equivalent of monster killers, basically. So we can assume that wyverns in the air-to-air combat of the game are going to be the things to take down griffins, are going to be things to take down the vampires, dragons, the things to take down dwarven gyrocopters kind of thing. They're going to be the best anti-air kind of unit, as well as the fact that they're going to be very powerful in the attack. They have orcs as as riders. So not only are the monsters going to be able to attack, which I think is definitely going to be a part of the game, but the guy on top is also going to be attack. If you have, say, a wizard on top of your griffin or on top of your wyvern, you're going to be doing so much damage. You're going to be able to get a mobile wizard, and now that we also know, if you see my previous video, now that we also know that magic is going to be in certain areas of every battle map, having a wizard on top of a flying unit means that you're going to be able to go around, get those points very, very quickly, and unleash all your spells. And if you're ever threatened, you can just bugger off, which is an amazing tactic that's going to be used, I hope. That said, when I say wizards on top of mounted flying units that are monsters, this only really vampires basically are going to be the big one. I don't think that orcs can get shaman who can ride wyverns. I'm not entirely sure in the tabletop if that's possible. That's why I don't know, but it might be possible in Total War Warhammer. Vampires definitely are going to be one. Dwarves don't even have flying monsters. They just have a gyrocopter, which is like an attack chopper, basically. Think of an Apache, but with one massive cannon. And I don't know if battle wizards can ride griffins, but if they can, then that's a thing. Trolls and giants are also in the orc army. Now, trolls are definitely going to be as part of the unit roster that you can recruit. Giants might be mercenary units, because in the tabletop, giants can be taken by almost any faction that is like slightly evil. So orcs, chaos, vampires will be able to have giants. I'm pretty sure. I know that way back there used to be a mercenary unit. There used to be a mercenary book where you could just purchase anything from these mercenaries in your armies. So giants used to be one of them. So maybe they're going to bring that back. Maybe giants are going to be mercs. That'd be really fun. Giants are going to be massive. Giants are going to be so big and so deadly because they're going to be there just eating troops. Possibly, like in the tabletop, giants can eat troops, and I think that regenerates their health. So maybe that's going to be a thing in the game. If they get hit a few times, if they eat something, they might regenerate just a little bit of health, depending on how big the thing they just ate was. So that could be interesting. Trolls are going to be slightly smaller, but still massive in the aspect of it. So they're going to be massive units of like either river trolls or stone trolls. They're going to be either vomiting on people, doing area attacks. That was a thing that was said on the PC Gamer article, that trolls are going to be doing area attacks, so they're going to have area attacks in the game, which is going to be great. So in the tabletop, there's an attack called the stomp attack. So basically, when a unit attacks another, if they're a monstrous unit, they get to end the sort of combat phase with a stomp, which is like a little area effect thing that does a lot of damage, which is great. Which I think in fantasy, in Total War, Warhammer is going to be just fantastic. When it comes to machines of war, you're going to have, on the orcs and goblins side anyway, you're going to have things like just a basic catapult, the Doom Diver, which is basically a suicide goblin thrower. It's amazing. Basically, they put these goblins, they give them wings, and then they throw them in the air, and then the goblin smashes into something. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but because it's like very accurate and they can zoom in, it's going to be like quite good at taking out other machines of war, or maybe individual wizards, which is great. So yeah, that's pretty much what you can expect from the orcs and goblins. From the Empire, Griffins, Griffin Riders, Demi-Griffs, they're going to be like not amazing. I don't know if they're going to be able to fly. Demi-Griffs can't fly in the tabletop, but they might be able to hop, like do a very big move, like where they go in the air, go over the terrain, and then land behind the enemy lines, which could be incredible. Griffins are going to be able to fly, which is going to be good, going to be the good anti-Wyvern kind of thing, because Griffins are very powerful. Plus, anyone on top of a Griffin is most probably going to be someone very powerful as a warlord, or your lord choice and stuff like that. It's going to be really good. Steam Tank. Now, I haven't talked about the Steam Tank before, I don't think, but the Steam Tank is basically just this metal machine that powered off steam and fires steam. So that is, and it's really powerful in the tabletop against armored units. So things like black orcs, which are basically just incredibly armored orcs, believe it or not. And they just do a huge amount of damage, which is going to be great. And it might actually, once again, in things like siege battles, steam tanks are going to be incredibly powerful because they fire steam, which I don't think against walls is going to do all that much stuff. But of course, Empire get great cannons, they get Hell Blasters, they get, the Hell Blasters, not Hell Blasters, what the hell am I doing? A Hell Blaster volley gun, which is like 10 or 9 mini cannons, just firing like one after the other. It's basically like a rattling, like a Gatling gun, but with cannons kind of thing. You get mortars, so you get the kind of, kind of early Empire Total War-esque cannon equipment kind of thing, except with some fantasy editions and stuff, which is going to be great. These are going to be the things to take down castle walls or stuff, or take down monsters or things. The Hell Blaster volley gun is going to be amazing. Like, it is literally Gatling gun, but with cannons. It's so dumb, but great at the same time. When it comes to dwarves, machines of war type, you can sort of think the same thing, cannons. They do have a Grudge Thrower, which is basically a catapult that throws big stones with grudges on them, which I think deals something like magical damage, or depending on what kind of shell you use or what grudge you use. So that could be interesting to see also in the game. And then for dwarves are your Gyrocopters, which are basically just these very weak helicopters that have a cannon on them, which is alright, but that means you can go behind enemy lines and fire cannons, so that's also very good. And finally, vampire cannons. Now, vampires have quite a lot of monsters, which I'm not going to be able to go through all, but you can think giant vampires. Like, if you've ever played Skyrim, the Vampire Lord, think that, but slightly bigger and much tougher and looks better. Basically, big vampire bat things. Terrorgeists, which are basically huge dragons that are vampire dragons. So, yeah, that's awesome. You can think of proper dragons as well. They have bone dragons or like blood dragons or whatever, which are basically just dragons ridden by vampires, which are cool, which can breathe fire and will do a lot of damage. will do a lot of stuff, and these are going to be scary. But once again, that whole aspect of being able to skip across the battlefield on your dragon to get to these points where the magical power, the magic is circles are, just to be able to get all the winds of magic to you are going to be so good. They also have like bigger units of like zombies or ghouls. They have these big ghouls called crypt horrors, which are going to be massive. But yeah, so a lot of monsters in Total War Warhammer. Let's hope. We know from the PC Gamer article that I've read anyway that trolls are going to be in there, giants are going to be in there, demi-griffs are going to be in there, which is great. Griffins are going to be in there, so we can only assume there's going to be more, and it's only going to get better and better and better over time, which is great. So there we go. That's everything about Monsters and Machines of War. I will go over this again when we know more about these, when we know that they fixed their turn battles kind of thing, which is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this game again. I've sort of got a resurgence now, but I've been playing a lot of it in my spare time. A lot of the tabletop version, not the actual game. I've got a copy of the actual game guide. No. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please like it. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share it with all your friends who don't know anything about Warhammer so that they get excited as well. And I will see you next time.